Hey there, everybody.
Evening.
Welcome to the November 7th, 2011 live Fellowship of the Geeks broadcast. He's Les Webster. I'm Thomas Schick. Hope everybody's doing okay. Hope everybody's had a good couple of weeks. How's things been with you?
Good. Kept busy and doing okay.
Have a good Halloween?
Yeah, I had a few munchkins come to the door, handed out.
Handing out comics?
Yeah.
Cool.
How was yours?
Quiet. We didn't do Halloween this year. We didn't do trick or treaters. So I basically just stayed in and watched. I think it was Turner Classic Movies that was doing a Hammer horror marathon. So
Very
it
nice.
was time well spent. It's not like I was just goofing around or something. I was actually doing it. So it's been a good couple of weeks. It's been real good for us and the website. A lot of things going on. A lot of things still moving. Of course, if you were not here with us last time, we did make the announcement that we're officially a news website now. Been in the process of developing contacts with a lot of the companies. I have a lot of them. I would say I've actually contacted more since we last spoke, so I'm almost to 40 companies.
Wow.
And I have at least verbal or written authorizations from almost 30 of them, around 30. So, so lots of things are going good there. I know I started doing some reviews, and that's something I've done a little bit before, but I'm still trying to get into it. So that's just going to be a work in progress. So I hope y'all are liking what's going on with the website. We're still looking from input from you, the readers of the website, or the viewers of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note, comments, complaints, suggestions, anything, questions. Email at thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. We're more than happy to read them and look at them and go from there. See what we can do, because we're always wanting to put out a good product for y'all.
Yes.
So, I mean, we'll have fun whether it's good or bad or indifferent. We'll always have a good time, but
Yeah.
we want y'all to have a good time too. So please let us know. Was there any news items we were going to drop over real quick? Or did you want to go ahead and talk about what you saw before the show?
Yeah. I have the online subscription to Geek Chic Daily,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an interesting site because they'll give you ideas of things coming up, whether it be toys or movies or publications, whatever. And today's had some comments about upcoming movies, which a couple of them enticed me. Like I told you, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy
Yeah.
is coming, which I'm pretty much thrilled at because that was a good story. But they also have a small site or small items down at the bottom of the page, and one of them was for any Warehouse 13 watcher. They have an app for your iPhone now, which is the Farnsworth app, which is the phone they use on the TV series.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty interesting, and I'm hoping, I do not have an iPhone, but I hope that it's a viable app that somebody can get. And it said the cost was 99 cents for the app, and I thought, well, that's kind of cool.
That's pretty good.
Like I said, I don't have those capabilities, but I would love to just even have the physical, whether it worked or not, of the physical of the Farnsworth, because it is pretty neat to see.
I'm surprised they hadn't already come out with something like that.
I am too.
Someone's got to be thinking about doing stuff like that.
Because it's a simple box. You have a circular screen for transmitting the picture. You have, of course, a small camera above that screen, and then you have the speakerphone. So you transmit that way, and it seems like it'd be too easy.
Yeah.
But I'm sure with the app, you probably also get the noise that the Farnsworth makes, which is a strange buzzing sound. So it's kind of like a gravelly buzz sound.
Okay.
But I think it'd be cool to have. So anybody out there with iPhones, check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Was there anything else you wanted to go over real quick?
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay.
Oh, I just did want to say, you said that you were at home watching the Hammer films.
Yeah.
And last week, I had talked to you, I guess it was Saturday, and the antenna TV, I had told you it was showing the giant claw.
The giant claw, yeah.
Which still made me giggle through the whole thing, because that is such a bad movie. The puppetry is horrible. The bird is ridiculous looking. It's a top-notch movie. It's one that everyone has to see, because it is so cool.
Yeah. Oh, there is one additional thing I want to mention before we get into things for tonight. This Friday, 6 o'clock, I think it's 6 o'clock our time, 6 o'clock Central. Y'all may want to check your local listings. Cartoon Network is going to show the first episode of Green Lantern, the animated series.
Yes.
And I believe it is Friday. I know it's this Friday. I believe it's 6 o'clock.
I believe so.
Because it's preempting The Brave and the Bold. Because Brave and Bold's usually on at 6.
I thought it was preempting Injustice, but
no, Young Justice is going to be on.
Okay.
Because I saw that. Because I spent this weekend trying to catch up. I was about 2 or 3 episodes behind on both of those. So, but yeah, Green Lantern is this Friday. Everything I've seen looks really good. It'd be interesting to see how things are going, how they'll go with the show and all that. So, just a word of advice: it's coming this Friday. So, keep an eye out for it. Tonight we had something else in mind, but we're going a different route tonight. We wanted to go ahead and talk about something we've kind of gone over before, but we felt that we needed to update it. Is the current state of the industry, and what brought this back to focus was, I don't know if y'all saw, but Friday, Diamond released its numbers for the month of October, and I think those are preliminary numbers, but I think they tend to be pretty well set. There's not much change between their initial numbers and then the final numbers. But sales were up between October and September. They were actually higher in October than they were in September by maybe 3%. The thing that intrigued me was the sales were up 12% overall compared to October of 2010. That all can't be because of what's going on at DC, can it?
No, I don't think so. No, but I think that's a contributor.
Yeah.
But
Well, I know it's helping, but I'm trying to figure out that's That's a nice jump. That's
Yeah.
a nice jump. I'm trying to figure out what maybe it's helped and then getting some people back in, and then they look and see, okay, well, this is what Marvel's doing. Oh, here's Dark Horse, here's Image, here's IDW, and then here's a few others that I've never heard of before, and these look like interesting. Maybe that did it. Maybe DC reopened the door for some people who've been out for a long time, and opened the door not only for DC but for other companies as well.
That's possible. But I think you also have to look at the digital.
True.
I think
I
people.
assume that plays a factor into it.
Yeah, and now that DC, when DC had issued Justice League and Superman and the Flash, I think, have all had digital copies. You can buy the regular copy, or you can buy the copy with the digital for like $1
Justice
more.
League. I think was it Superman or was it Action?
It may have been Action.
And
Probably
I
Action.
and I think you're right about Flash, but I don't recall right now. But yeah, that could
And I think since that makes it more accessible for this age, people will jump in, and they'll be happy to pay the $5 or whatever it is to read it digitally rather than have a storage problem.
Yeah.
Which makes sense too.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we've talked before about regarding reading comics digitally, and since some of the stuff that I have taken on, some of the responsibility I've taken on in the last month or so, I have read some comics and graphic novels on the computer for the first time ever. While it's not my preference, I've noticed that I don't really have a problem with it. So I was like, I could see why some people do it. It's not my preference, but I don't have the problem that I did before about it. So
yeah, and when you do bring it up on a screen, you can magnify it till one panel can fill your whole page, or you can zoom in enough where you can see some great detail.
Yeah.
That somebody's done.
Yeah.
And which would be something to really behold with Aragonis or Perez work.
Yeah, exactly.
To see the minute people that are drawn in, and what is accomplished there.
I should do that with Aragonis. That would be interesting, especially with all the. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah, just to see what they have.
See the details that I've missed all these years because it's in a comic book.
Yeah.
You can't just, unless you take a magnifying glass, and even then you may not be able to see everything.
That's true. It's tougher than Where's Waldo or Carmen Sandiego, anyone else.
Yeah. So everything's sounding good. However, there's been some news coming from Marvel. I think I posted a little bit about this. That they've laid off about a dozen people or so. It was mainly editorial, but recently they've been going back. They've been going and canceling books too. Alpha Flight, which was an 8-issue miniseries, that in August they said, well, it's going to be ongoing. Well, now they've changed their mind and said, no, it's going to be 8 issues and that's it. The All Winter Squad. Are you getting that? I mean, I know you don't really do Marvel, but the All Winter Squad.
No.
But you've seen seen the book. That's been canceled. It's an 8-issue miniseries, and it's ending with they're canceling it with issue 5, which has gotta suck if you're reading that book, because that means you don't finish the story. And then, just what I've been hearing the last last few days, the Doctor Doom miniseries, which is supposed to come out later on this month, has been canceled. And I just heard today that the Destroyers miniseries, which was supposed to be out in February, that's been canceled.
Who was supposed to be in the Destroyers?
The Destroyers was the monster book. It was with She-Hulk.
And Fan Foon.
I don't remember if he's in it, but A-Bomb, Beast, one of the Mongoloids, Mole Man's people.
Okay.
Mole Man's people, and a couple others that I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was basically a monster book. Monster miniseries. They canceled that too. I'm sure there's going to be some more books that are canceling because the editors are gone. Some people are saying that Marvel, the popular theory I'm hearing out there, and I give it no credence at all, is that Marvel's panicking over the success of DC. It's way too soon to be making that kind of a judgment.
I agree.
Yes, DC had from what I've been hearing, DC beat Marvel last month for the first time since
almost ever.
Yeah, almost ever in a decade.
Yeah.
But it's way too soon for Marvel to be doing this kind of thing. I quite honestly think it's just a tidy. They're just reorganizing and probably just trying to make things a little bit more manageable in terms of books and that kind of stuff. So they're just letting some people they feel it's like go. That's what I'm thinking. They're just trying to cut out some dead. No offense to the people who were doing this, but dead weight, or just a restructuring, especially now that they're owned out by DC. I mean Disney.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Disney's probably looking and saying, "Is there any way we can?" Because Disney's made Marvel let go of some of the, I think like their PO. I know they made Marvel Studios lose some people because I think it was mainly the PR stuff because Disney can handle the PR. It's kind of I'm talking about Marvel Studios. I'm not talking about Marvel the books.
Right. Which makes sense.
It does make sense
because they've got that many people already on payroll that do that and have been doing it for buku years.
Yeah. So it's double.
Yeah.
So it's excess. So that's what I'm thinking it's going on. It's just they're just trying to tighten things up, cut back a little bit with it. I don't think it's certainly not a response to what's going on with DC.
But you're not going to see that reflected in their comics as far as their cost goes. I don't see them cutting their prices.
I don't see them. Yeah. Well, no, they'll keep things pretty much the price as they are. It would be interesting because, they're starting a new Spider-Man book this week. There's supposed to be another Avengers book coming out. That kind of stuff, I want to see what happens. I want to see if they start cutting out, because there's like 6 or 7 Avenger books, and there's 3 or 4 Spider-Man books. At what point do you say, okay,
enough is enough?
Enough is enough, because what are you...
But they haven't said that with, pardon me, but they haven't said that with X-Men. They haven't said that with Deadpool.
Well, and in fairness, DC hadn't said that with Batman.
No, but Batman himself has been trimmed down to 2 of his own titles.
He has Detective, Batman, and Batman Robin, and Batman the Dark Knight.
Oh, 4. Okay.
And then Batman Inc. comes back early next year, so that's 5.
And granted, he is also appearing in Batman or Justice League.
Both Justice League books.
Yeah.
Well, 2 of the 3 Justice League books.
Yeah.
But he's always been in that many books.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he's been in a lot, maybe not that many. But, I mean, let's look. Back in the 70s when I first started, there was Batman, Detective, World's Finest, Brave and Bold, Justice League.
Yeah.
So that's 5.
Mm-hmm. Now
So
you're
it's
looking at 6.
Yeah, so you're now looking at about 6, 7.
Yeah.
30, 40 years later.
But in some of those books, he is not.
He's
the
not the
prominent.
dominant. He's not the dominant character,
Right.
especially with JLI.
Yeah. He's a shadow man in that, more or less.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense for that title.
Yeah. But it'd just be interesting to see what happens with that kind of stuff. Because it was groundbreaking when they decided we'll do a West Coast Avengers.
Yes.
And now you got Avengers, New Avengers, Avengers Academy, Secret Avengers, and I believe there's supposed to be a new book coming out next year. It's going to be like Avengers Assemble or something like that. So that's 5 Avenger books.
And then they've got the miniseries Avengers 1959.
Yeah, there's that miniseries. They're doing the series of one-shots, Avenger Origins. So, yeah, there's a lot of Avenger books out there.
Well, and of course, I can understand them gearing up because
they're gearing up for the movie next year.
Yeah.
But some of this was going on, the 2 miniseries, yeah, but in the other book. But we've had about 4 books for a year or 2 now. So I don't know. But it's nice to hear that sales are doing well considering what's going on in the real world.
Yeah.
What you checking out right now?
I'm looking up the Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see who they are putting in this one. Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, Iron Man, Hawkeye.
Yeah, basically the ones that have had movies outside of Hawkeye. Hawkeye's the only that we know of.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still rumblings about Pym
Ant-Man
and Wasp maybe make an appearance in there, but no one's really mentioned it. I mean, there's been nothing solid, but that's just what I've been hearing, or it could be wishful thinking.
Yeah, to me it'd be something nice to put in there. Almost back to the original Avengers. But wasn't Namor in the original?
No.
He just battled the original.
He battled the original. The original was Ant-Man, Wasp, Thor, Iron Man, Hulk for that one adventure. Who am I missing?
That's it.
Thor, Wasp, Ant-Man, Hulk, Iron Man.
Yeah.
And then Captain America was the first recruit.
Right. And he came in when Hulk left.
And then Hawkeye was one of the first replacements after the original group left.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty much the original group outside of Black Widow. Basically like the first 7, and then Black Widow. No Scarlet Witch or Silver Surfer or Quicksilver. Quicksilver. God, easy for me to say. But, of course, I can't because those are mutants, and Marvel Studios don't have access to the mutants.
But I thought they had Wolverine. That's a mutant.
Not Marvel Studios. That was done with 20th Century Fox.
The Origins?
Was 20th Century Fox.
Oh, okay.
Any X title has been 20th Century Fox. the three, I guess you could say the four, well, 5 X titles. X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men, a final piece of crap, X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then First Class. Those were all 20th Century Fox.
Okay.
As was the Fantastic Four movies.
And Spider-Man?
Sony Columbia.
Okay. Hmm.
Now, Marvel Studios has Blade back, and
EA.
and someone else they got back. But you know, they still don't have those. They still don't have Daredevil. I'm trying to remember who else they got back. I don't know if Ghost Rider. I think Ghost Rider is still part of New Line, but I don't hold me on that. Which we have new Ghost Rider here in a couple of months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And supposedly it's going to be darker, not as goofy as the first one, although the movie was not goofy outside of Cage's performance, and I'm sorry to say.
But he's returning.
Mm-hmm. But it's not the same director who also wrote the script.
Okay.
Which is, was it Mark Steven Johnson? I think that's the name who wrote and directed Ghost Rider, who also wrote and directed Daredevil.
Ooh, there's two that you really wanted on your resume.
Well, but this is also the same guy that wrote the Grumpy Old Men movies too. So the guy can write some stuff. I'm not sure. Because the Grumpy Old Men movies were great.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Mark Steven Johnson. I can't believe I got that right.
Yeah, there is that talk about him returning.
Oh, he is. Cage is returning. Just some of the stuff I like what he did, but some of it I didn't. Especially a lot of the pointing. Like, dude, what's with the finger? Do you want me to just, cut it off or something? I don't get it.
Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
2012 or 2012 it says.
Yep. February 17th. Not yet released. Well, yeah, because it's not February 17th, 2012.
Who's the female lead?
It's not Eva Mendes, I know that much.
Violante Placido.
Gesundheit. That's what she said.
Sorry to say I don't know who that is.
Interesting picture of her.
Yep. Pretty girl. Anything that I've seen?
Don't look like
nope.
it. Looks like most of it's
Italian.
Yeah. Which makes sense because this is supposed to be in Europe, taking place in Europe, so that would make sense that.
Ghost Rider is in Europe?
From what I understood. Just roll with it.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh well.
But you also got Christopher Lambert in it too.
Woohoo! Yeah. Watch him stumble through it. Yeah. But I know Marvel, we talked about it, Marvel is gearing up for their releases. And they're going to flood titles, just like they did with Thor.
And Captain America.
And Captain America. Because
well,
Free Comic Book Day last year, or this past spring, was those two titles. You better get ready, because that's what you're going to get this time.
Yeah. Well, next year it will be Avengers and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
because that's the two movies I have.
Kind of a shame.
Why?
All the eggs in one basket type thing.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Well, they're going to promote the hell out of those two movies,
Yeah.
and they're going to flood the market with those two titles.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, they're just relying on those two titles to carry them for the year. And I can't see that. I can't see that happening.
Well, we've gone over this even on the show before. I think them and DC are kind of going about it wrong with Free Comic Book Day. Free Comic Book Day, they should probably promote something that's lesser known.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be enough interest from the movie for Joe Q public or Joan public to go into the store and buy Spider-Man, Avengers, or whatever. They're interested by the movie, they'll go buy the book. They don't need to have a free comic book for that character.
Right.
It needs to be on for someone else. So okay, this is an interesting book. I might get that. So I would stay away. Not only would I stay away from Spider-Man and Avengers, I would stay away from Captain America in general, Thor in general, and X-Men in general, because those are the ones that had movies this year. There should have been enough interest this year for them to keep on going.
Yeah.
They need to do maybe Fantastic Four, Moon Knight, something else. To promote someone else that's not going to get the attention because there was a movie last year, or there's going to be a movie this year, or there's going to be a movie next year.
Yeah.
There should be enough from the PR machine of not only Marvel, but now they got the mighty Disney behind them. Free comic books should be devoted to something else, and DC should do the same thing because they got the same thing. They got the mighty Warner Brothers behind them.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't. Yeah, they do the Johnny DC thing, and that's awesome. One of their books is just Johnny DC. It's doing the Tiny Titans or the Brave and Bold or something like that. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. That's geared toward the tots. Don't have a problem with that. But what they did this year was one chapter of the Green Lantern Secret Origins. Of course, there was a Green Lantern movie.
Yeah.
And then with a sneak peek for the big Flashpoint event.
Which made sense.
Which made
more sense than Green Lantern.
I don't have really too much problem with the sneak peek, but the way they do their books now, they could have put the sneak peek. They could have put 2 or 3 pages of the sneak peek in the back issues of all the books, like they do everything else now.
Yeah.
They could have done that and devoted pages to something else. Next year it's going to be Batman. It's going to be The Dark Knight Rises. So the free comic book should not be Batman related. It shouldn't be Green Lantern related because we had Green Lantern this year. It shouldn't be Superman related because we got Superman 2013.
Mm-hmm.
It should be Wonder Woman. It should be Teen Titans. It should be Aquaman. Someone who does not get the attention. Well, Aquaman's going to get the attention because of the writer. But someone else. Just throw it out there and say, hey, look.
The Legion, somebody.
Yeah, Legion Lost or Legion of Superheroes or
Deathstroke
someone else that might get someone to say, okay, this is interesting, I'll buy the regular book.
Men of War would be something that they could promote and do well.
I'll be a little selfish. OMAC.
Okay.
I love OMAC. It's not the greatest thing, but it reminds me of the stuff from the 70s that I grew up. Have you been reading it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of it?
I enjoy it. Yeah. I wasn't that huge into OMAC when it first came out.
But it's not really going back. I mean, there's some hints to it, but it's basically a love fest for Kirk, and I guess that's part of the reason why I like it, because it's bringing back not just OMAC, but there's all the other stuff that Kirby had done, has put together and all that. It's a fun read.
Sure.
It's fun. It's a lot of destruction and battles and that kind of stuff. But it's, you know, so something like that. All-Star Western. Granted, there was a Jonah Hex a couple of years ago, but I don't know. I just think they're kind of. It's an opportunity that I think both companies are not taking the best
tack.
Well, they're not using to the fullest potential.
Yeah.
Because you've got all these other companies that are, some that you probably never even heard of. So here's their book. It's free, so let me read it. Oh yeah, this is great. I'll have to see if I can start getting these books.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at it this way then. They've had an increase in sales.
Mm-hmm.
Things are up. DC is rebooted, although they don't like that term.
It's relaunched.
Relaunched,
Whatever.
And that's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Marvel is scrambling, and that's okay too. I can understand that to a degree. I mean, but they've been the big dog for so long.
Yeah, scrambling. I don't think they're scrambling. If you mean scrambling just because of what's going on with DC, I don't think that's happening. I just think. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, then let's look in the future.
Okay.
How do you think they're going to pan out? How strong are some of these titles? You said that Marvel's already stepped in and chopped several of them.
Yeah, but they're all miniseries. These have been miniseries. The ones that some of them haven't even been formally announced as being canceled. It's the writers that are coming out and tweeting on, posting stuff on Twitter saying, "Hey, yeah, this has been canceled. It's not going to come out. Sorry."
Okay. But don't you think that that'll work its way into some of the major titles too? Some of the main titles. All of a sudden, you don't have Peter Parker Spider-Man. You don't have Deadpool family or whatever the hell it was.
Well, Deadpool, of course, been gone for a while, but there's still 2 or 3 Deadpools. There's still 2 or 3 Deadpool comics. Who knows? I don't know. It's funny reading some of the discussions about some of this stuff today, and some people saying that DC's putting out more books because they mentioned the 52 books. But someone turns around and says, well, yeah, but those are all just main titles. Between the events and the miniseries and that kind of stuff, Marvel puts out way more books.
Yeah. Per month.
Per month.
Yeah. You can look at their monthly wish book, and it's got 1 page, and on that page you've got a column and a half of new stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've got the rest of it as graphic novels.
Graphic novels, collections.
Posters.
Models or action figures. Or not models, but statues.
Statues, yeah.
I don't know. Could they use that little cutback? Probably. I thought DC was way too ambitious to do 52 number 1. I could see them wanting to do a big splash and do it all at one time because of what happened. It got news everywhere. Everybody was talking about it. 52, that's quite a bit. Plus the fact that some of these will not survive, but they're already planning replacements for those books.
But for the most part, I enjoyed those 52. I read all 52 of the first issues.
Number ones, yeah.
And I enjoyed them. But there were some that were weak. When I say enjoy it, I enjoyed reading them. Not necessarily that they were the greatest things.
What's the percentage of the 52 that you'll actually keep getting How many of the number ones did you get number 2? And you're planning on getting number 3?
Maybe between 25 and 30.
Wow.
Because the JLAs I enjoy, including the Dark, which is...
The Dark was very good.
It's very good. The DC Presents is fun. But right now...
I didn't get that one. I should have.
They're running the Deadman series right now for the first story arc. You've got Men of War, the Bat titles, most of the Bat titles. There are a couple I would not want again.
What about the super titles?
You know, I'm kind of staying away from Action, Supergirl, and all of that.
Really? Even Action?
Yeah, even Action.
You didn't like number 1?
I know what they were doing, but it just floored me that they would go so retro in it, take it so far back, that it's not as interesting to me. Being old school.
Very old school.
Thank you. Very old school.
Well, it was. I mean, it's very much original Action Comics number 1 for the most part.
Yeah. But they not only did they change the story a bit to modernize it, but to me they also changed the look so much that I'm not used to it. The baby cape drives me crazy. That's what Supergirl wears, not Superman. You would see Supergirl in a short cape.
Okay.
It looks like an 8-year-old running around the house with a towel around his shoulders. A hand towel. But, like I said, there are several in there. Men of War was a great read. Was it iZombie?
iVampire.
iVampire?
Mm-hmm.
It was okay, but I'm not going to take that in because I really don't want, I'm sorry to say, I don't want vampires involved in the DC universe. And they're talking about going to Gotham City and seeing Batman and all this other stuff, and I'm going, I don't care. I don't want that.
Okay. Since you mentioned that, what do you think about All-Star Western? The fact that Jonah Hex is in Gotham City, dealing with Amadeus Arkham. We're working together with him.
But that's in the Old West. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is before.
Yeah, this is the early days of Gotham.
And I don't have a problem with that because it gives a little background story for Arkham and later the Asylum and how things may have been handled there.
But do you have a problem with the fact that Jonah Hex is now tied in properly with the universe and not just on his own as I almost said traditional Western, but his stories have never really been traditional Westerns.
No, they haven't.
But you know what I mean. More of a Western than oh, here he goes to Gotham City, and of course it's a dark city and it's corrupt politicians and cops and all that kind of stuff. Which basically says the city has never been good.
No, never been a clean city.
It's never been a clean city. Which
never been a metropolis. But it's never been played as metropolis.
No, but so basically it's been corrupt from the very get-go. I kind of have a problem with that. So I mean, there was nothing ever redeeming about the city from its founding. I just have a problem.
That's a tough question to answer.
I hadn't really thought about it until we just now talked about it, but I seem to have I kind of have a little problem with that. It just doesn't make to me. It doesn't make it makes it less sympathetic of a city than say it's just a city that's lost its way and at some point in its history, a knight will come to try to save its soul. That it's been doomed from the get-go, and now it's just pointless. It's almost like Terminator 3. That's the reason why I never watched Terminator 3. Is that after the end of Terminator 2, it's like, okay, they were